Last video, we talked about how being a self-starter gives you some advantages that most people do not have, right? In this video, we're going over the physical framework of what that actually looks like. So, a problem that I see a lot of people go through is the fact that they may have all the knowledge, but their ultimate weakness is going to be execution. Like everyone wants to get in shape, everyone wants to be extra smart, everyone wants to be better than what they are today, usually with less labor involved. However, um, however, the problem is usually they know what to do and they do nothing, right? Or they do very little, or they do very little. And essentially today we're going to be talking about four facets or four steps for how to essentially become a self-starter on a regular basis. The four steps in my framework go like this. Okay, one is preparation. We talked about preparation yesterday and how preparation can be turned into procrastination. Just as an example, it gives you a healthy framework for preparation. The second thing is action. This is going to be the most crucial and important step because if you lack action, none of this stuff gets done in the first place. Okay. Number three is continuation. One thing that you're going to find a lot, especially when you're in pursuit of a goal, is that you're going to have to continue doing the boring stuff over and over again until you reach it. Okay. And then lastly, lifestyle. You want to make it a part of your lifestyle on a regular basis, whether it is gym, whether it is studying. In some capacity, you want to move forward every day, right? You want to make it a part of your lifestyle. You want to make it so normal that when you don't do it, it's weird, or it feels weird, or you feel like something's missing, right? That's essentially what you want. Right, so that's basically what we're going to be talking about in this video. Um, Once again, this first part of our growth series is inspired by Proverbs 6:6 through 8, which essentially talks about um, how you want to look at an ant and uh, basically practice its ways and just not be a sluggard. I'm gonna go over preparation right now. Most people think that preparation is spending 6 months researching, 4 months getting all your materials, and what 2 months of looking for an opportunity, right? And I think in the vast majority of cases, I think you need less time than that usually, but that's just procrastination described. That's just procrastination disguised as productivity, right? Um, when you're sitting there with all this information and just hoping something's going to come your way based off the information that you have in your head without any type of practice, that's when the problems end up coming because you have no experience in the field that you're in, right? Ultimately, preparation is not really about becoming an expert in your field or becoming a perfect person within your field. It's more so about relieving pressure or tension when it comes upon you, right? Like for example, when it comes to the gym, you want to you want to make sure you have all your clothes ready. You want to have your gym bag by the door, and you want to make sure that you take it with you almost wherever you go, especially if you value it, and doubly so if you know that you really don't want to go to the gym, that going to the gym is hard and difficult for you. You want to make it a lot easier for you to execute that goal. Okay, for me, for YouTube, right? I know for a fact that I need to write scripts. That I probably need to go to the gym and I need to set up my camera and everything, right? But I set up my phone. I'm not even set up my phone. I charge my mic at least 2 nights before. I make sure that's fully charged because if it doesn't have more than 2 bars, I probably won't even record in the first place, and I probably won't even go to the gym either, right? Um, Make sure that's in the work. I make sure I at least have 5 to 10 scripts that I made at least 2 weeks beforehand, going over the various um, going over the various topics that I go over, And so that way I at least have some options when I come in. Now, in this case, it's a series that I'm doing, so it's a little bit different. But for the most part, like a lot of the stuff that I have, I made scripts like 2-3 weeks ago for it that I can fall back on in case I'm not passionate about something, right? Um, but that's really what it's about, right? And there are a couple enemies to preparation. There are a couple advantages to preparation. We're going to talk about it when we start hitting the bag or doing some cardio. Some enemies of preparation can be fear, overthinking, perfectionism, waiting, especially waiting, and information overload, right? You probably experienced this at some point, right? Sometimes it's, hey, I need this thing. Sometimes I need this material in order to do X task, or it can be, what if this doesn't work out? Or it can be just the fear of fear of failure, fear of the responsibility of failing, which we kind of talked about yesterday. But those thoughts in your head, you kind of have to push past them, especially in the preparation phase, because you want to have a timeline for when you want to get all your. You want to have a deadline, so that way you're not spending too much time preparing, and you're going on the way to where you need to go, because the world is not going to wait for you. I think we already discussed it last video. I was on a roll there. Framework number 2 is starting, right? And when I say starting, I don't mean making some drastic change, which sometimes it is necessary, but I more so believe in drastic decisions. Like if I want to get in shape and I've been eating like garbage for the past, I don't even know how long, right? I need to make the radical decision to stop eating those foods and actually go to the store, buy the proper meats or vegetables or whatnot, and eat properly from them, right? But what I'm really here talking about is just making the first step, the one workout to start your fitness journey, the one conversation to improve your social life. Cold approaching that one girl as a way to start your dating life or whatnot, right? Reading that one book to improve your vocabulary. Whatever it is, I'm not talking about drastic change. I'm also talking about drastic decision followed by very small incremental changes that happen over time. Like I said before, the compound effect happens in small percentages. Anyway, the whole point of having small actions that build up every day is mainly for confidence. Because when you're confident in something, right, it's a lot easier to make decisions involving it because you've done the proper steps or the proper preparation in order to do those things. Unfortunately, personal opinion, I think it comes with evidence. Like you need evidence to gain. Most people need evidence in order to gain confidence, right? A lot of people might be anxious to be around other people, to talk with other people. However, when they're talking to people on a regular basis, they might still feel anxious, but regardless, they're still putting their best foot forward to become less anxious, less socially inept or whatnot. But through that, you get little wins that, you win little battles that will help you win the overarching war, which is the victory of whether achieving your goal, overcoming a deficiency in yourself, and reinforcing the best parts of your character, whatever that is. The whole point is that you start with some action, at least in some capacity, whether small or medium size, because if you don't, all that preparation was just procrastination. It was all for nothing. Oh. And usually your confidence is going to come from evidence first rather than um, you just having it in the first place. Now, this third framework is where most people quit, okay? And it's called continuation. When you start something new, when you're preparing for it, and you first start acting on what you prepared with, or moving in the right direction, you'll be really excited because now you're moving forward in the right way. You're motivated. You want to you think you're actually making good progress because you're learning more than you ever did before, even though you knew nothing about said subject or said mission in the first place. And after all that excitement ends, all it is continuation. Right? All it is continuation. All it is you making the same decisions over and over again until the results show up. And this is where the boredom comes in. The boredom sets in. And even though it might take you around 2 years to see some actual results from your continuation, it does not take away the feeling of repeating the same thing over and over again being boring. You know, like even I experienced this, not only with my CompTIA A+ exam, but also in boxing, right? When I first went on my program, when I first started learning about all these, how to put a PC together, how to take it apart, identifying all the pieces, one thing that I was able to identify was that when the novelty of learning new things about technology wore off, that's when the struggle started, at least mentally, because now I kind of already knew, I was already familiar with the study load, the workload, and I eventually not only got bored, but when things got hard, it was a lot easier for me, at least emotionally, to want to quit, because all the exciting emotions went away, right? Similarly with boxing, I want to have a better jab, but I don't like coming in here very often and just throwing the jab over and over again. You know, practicing not telegraphing, practicing not chicken winging before I throw it, practicing not tightening up my shoulders, tightening up my muscles, because I want to make it so the jab is automatic at least 40% power without me getting tired or my shoulder getting tired. Just using it as an example, right? But through that lesson, I learned 3 things, right? One of those is that consistency, no matter how small, beats excitement and motivation. Primarily because excitement is an emotion, right? Excitement is an emotion. And all emotions only last for so long, right? Very few people are actually stay with their passion after a while, but what does stay is the consistent effort of wanting to become better in that specific area until you see progress. The second thing, so this is something I talk about all the time, is that small wins compound. You know, every bit of knowledge that I gain from my pursuit in my area of expertise, is one additional nugget of information I can use to get closer to my goal. I'm gonna do this instead. I think I'm leaning too much. And the third thing is that momentum is going to be your best friend. right? Like even right now, I passed my CompTIA A plus exam, which I'm going to make a video about very soon. But when I passed it, it was more so like I was excited for like that day or for that couple hours. But afterward, I had an understanding that I only had a limited amount of time. I only had a limited amount of time in order to before that wears off. And instead of just lounging around and celebrating, probably because I don't really have the money to be eating out like that, but instead I use that energy and put it in to study for my next cert, which is my Network Plus. And I kind of want to get it before October 31st, so that way I'm not really tripping on it. But through the momentum of your small wins, you're going to become more motivated to, or even through the wins that you do have, or the major wins or the major breakthroughs that you have from figuring out some stuff, you're going to learn very quickly that if you channel that energy to doing something productive, you're going to have a much better yield because you're excited about the new information that you're learning while also experiencing everything else, right? Ultimately, you need to switch your mindset to, why should I do this today, to I do this every day because of said goal, right? I want to get a better job because, frankly, if I'm in a fight, first thing I do when I want to throw something out really fast to check somebody. The reason why I want to get good with computers or whatnot, understand the basics, is so that troubleshooting becomes easier, because the foundation of stuff is going to be a lot easier for me to understand when I have a good understanding of the basics. And that's just true when it comes to almost any thing in this life. The last framework is lifestyle. At some point on your journey of self-improvement, or your journey of starting, is going to become a part of your regular life, right? It's going to become a part of, like, when you have an idea for a video or an idea for some creative stuff, you're just going to get on it without thinking about it, right? Instead of, you're going to walk into a gym and you're not going to need to look at your routine anymore, because you've already done it so many times that you don't have to think about it anymore. You're going to have an idea for a script and you're going to immediately execute on it because it's a great idea, and you're just fleshing it out. You can look past it later. The whole point is that through constant repetition, you become the person you need to be in order to reach your goal. A lot of people say fake it till you make it. I say repeat it till you become it, because what you are going to be the product of your habits, of your choices 2 years ago, or 2 weeks ago, or 6 months ago. But that's it for this part. I'll move it on to the next one. One of the biggest mistakes that I see a lot when it comes to change is that people want to make really big changes. And I'm all for big radical change. Amen. If that's where your heart is at, do it. However, if you don't have a sustainable method of attack, you're going to quit. Burnout is very real. Okay, this happened to me when I tried to get in shape for the first time when I was around 119 pounds, and I started trying to drink and eat 1,000-calorie shakes every day, and I got tired of making the shakes and eating all the food starting out. And but when I moved to Vegas, I started actually having an actionable plan. I started out with just 2,000 calories, because when I measured my calories, I don't know how many that is. I want to say 12. But when I measured my calories, I ate 1,800. So then I moved to 2,000 calories. And once I reached a certain weight and I felt comfortable at 2,000 calories, I increased it to 2,200 calories. And I basically sustained that, increasing my protein intake. Anyway, I was able to grow from 119 pounds to 154, 55 pounds in 2 years because of that. Now I could have did it faster because could have did it faster if I was just a lot smarter, but or heck, I had more grit. But the whole point is that I didn't make it. I did it one way where I was extreme with the way I changed, and one way where I had the same mindset, but I didn't. Where I had the same mindset, but instead, I incremented steady ramp ups of my schedule or whatnot to help me reach my goal. And that's how I got here. So please, if you are inspired by anything or anyone to make a radical change, just start small and get big. You know, like if you decide if you reach the point where you're making big changes 6 months down the line, geez, down from the line. That took a lot out of me. Um, Down the line, then compared to 3 months down the line, it's okay. You're gonna be around for 80 plus years, Lord willing. What's 3 months to 40 years? Whatever, using that as an example. Like when it comes to success, I think most people boil it down to you're motivated, which leads into action, which leads into results. But I more so believe that through action and small results, you get confidence. And from confidence, that leads you to more action because not only are you more confident in your decisions, you're more sure of yourself. But then from there, that creates an identity for you. Like action comes first and everything else follows, right? So from here, if I were to summarize this entire video, essentially what I'm saying here is that preparation creates, eliminates excuses, action creates momentum, continuation gives you the discipline you need in order to push past all the BS, and lifestyle just becomes your identity, and your identity is something you take everywhere you go, and it's essentially that cycle over and over again until you die. Oh my gosh. Closing today, I just want to motivate you to at least start something today. Like, don't try to change your whole life. 1, 2. But you can make small incremental changes to your life to ultimately become the person you need to be in order to reach your goals. And fortunately, you can do that today. And if you reach a pitfall, then you can always pivot, or you can always start smaller. You know, if you get 1% better every day, and that's all you're really gonna need. Anyway, I forgot what I was gonna say later on, but Triumph Athletic, code MINT, MINT, for 10% off your order. And I'll probably see you guys in the next one, hopefully. Adios.